Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something I think a lot of us have bumped up against. How do you actually decorate a place you share when your style and your roommate's style are just completely different?
Mm.
You probably know that feeling, right? It can turn into, well, a bit of a design war zone, like those examples you shared, where one side is all stark, modern lines,
hmm
and the other half is just, pure bohemian chaos.
Exactly. It happens all the time.
It really does. So, our mission today for this deep dive is to pull out some really practical strategies, maybe some surprising ideas from the material you sent over. We want to show that blending these styles, even if they seem totally opposite, isn't just like possible. It can actually create
Wow.
something, well, way more interesting than either style on its own.
That's the key, really. This dive is basically a guide. How do you create a space that tells both your stories, but, still looks good, still has that visual harmony? We're going to unpack the principles that actually make that work, no matter how different your tastes seem at first glance.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Where do you even start when, minimalist meets maximalists under one roof? The first step, the really crucial one you flag, is getting why you each like what you like. Before paint chips, before furniture.
Yes, that's so often missed. Knowing why someone leans towards, say, minimalism is so much more revealing than just knowing that they like it.
Mm.
Think about Mia and Sarah from the readings. Sarah's minimalism wasn't just about looks. It came from growing up in a really cluttered house, feeling overwhelmed.
Ah,
So
yeah.
for her, minimalism felt like calm, like control. But Mia, she wanted that bohemian vibe for warmth, that collected feeling, like cozy homes she remembered.
Right.
And the insight there is huge. It shifts it from a fight over taste to kind of understanding each other's needs. Empathy, really.
Yeah, that changes the whole conversation.
Totally. Solutions become more personal, more collaborative.
And those articles you shared had some great starting questions. Things like, what actually makes you feel comfortable at home? What colors calm you down versus, energize you? Open and airy or cozy and intimate? How do you feel about pattern, texture?
Crucial question.
And that big one,
Hmm.
functionality versus just looking good. Where's the balance for you?
Absolutely key. Because those questions, they help you find shared values. Maybe you both value comfort, even if your idea of a comfy sofa is totally different.
Right, like plush versus sleek.
Exactly. Or maybe you both really want the place to feel welcoming. Those shared things, those core values, they become your foundation, your common ground for making decisions.
And that idea of doing mood boards together, like on Pinterest, or even just cutting stuff out of magazines, that sounded really practical.
Oh, definitely. It's a great way to find surprising overlaps. You might think your styles are worlds apart,
Yeah.
but then you both keep pinning, I don't know, pictures with warm wood tones, or you both seem to like natural textures
Yeah.
that helps you find that shared aesthetic language you didn't even realize you had.
Okay, so you've dug into the why, you've maybe found some shared values through mood boards. What's next? The material suggested color is often the easiest path.
It often is, yeah.
Yeah.
Color's got so much flexibility. Even if one loves bold colors and the other loves like super soft neutrals, there's usually a way you could pick a neutral base everyone's okay with for the big things,
Yeah.
walls, sofa, then add personality with accents. The material mentioned that 60-30-10 rule, remember?
Right, 60% neutral, 30% shared secondary color, 10% personal accent.
Exactly. And here's a neat trick. Think about different intensities of the same color. Like maybe a really pale sage green works for the minimalist,
Okay.
while a deep, rich forest green feels right for the maximalist. Same family, different feel.
That's smart. Like Mia and Emma with the blue. One liked soft muted blues, the other loved navy and teal.
Yeah. What do?
They landed on the sophisticated blue-gray for the walls. It was calm enough for Emma, but deep enough to ground Mia's bolder stuff. Kind of genius.
That's a perfect compromise. And it brings up color temperature, too. Warm undertones, reds. Yellows feel cozy. Cool undertones, blues. Greens feel more spacious, calmer. So if one wants cozy and the other wants airy, maybe you pick a main color, say blue,
Yeah.
but find a shade with slightly warmer undertones for the living room, and maybe a cooler version for a workspace. You're subtly bridging that gap, finding that sweet spot.
That's really nuanced. And I guess different rooms could lean slightly different ways, too, depending on what you use them for.
For sure. The kitchen might lend itself more to one style, the bedroom nick to another. It gives more chances for individual expression without it feeling like one style is taking over the whole place.
Okay, color makes sense. But what about those big open plan spaces? That seems trickier. The zone-based approach came up a lot.
Yes, zones are brilliant for that. It's about intentionally creating distinct areas within the shared space. Each zone can kind of nod to one person's style, but it all still flows.
So, like, how does that work practically?
Well, you could literally designate a wall or a corner for each person's main display area. Rugs are fantastic for this.
Ah, rugs. Good one.
Yeah, you could have a geometric rug defining one seating area and maybe a plush vintage style one defining another right next to it. Or individual reading nooks, workspaces. You could even assign furniture. You pick the chairs, I pick the lamp. The real insight here is that zones give everyone a sense of ownership. It cuts down on that feeling of my style is getting lost.
Like Sarah and Mia. Again, Sarah took the dining area with her modern, sleek stuff.
Right.
Mia had the living room seating with her vintage sofa, pillows. But the key was that shared coffee table, modern lines, warm wood. It connected them.
Exactly. It created a dialogue. And this works best if you've already figured out what's most important to each person.
Oh.
Is it the clean desk or the cozy reading corner?
Mm.
Zoning lets both happen without clashing badly.
Okay, so we've got the why, the color, the zones. Now, the big one, furniture. Biggest investment, most visible stuff. This is where it gets really interesting, right?
It definitely feels like the biggest hurdle sometimes. Strategy is everything here. The advice: invest in neutral statement pieces that can kind of flex.
Flex.
Yeah, like a sofa with clean lines and a versatile color, gray, cream, maybe even a navy. Something that doesn't scream one specific style too loudly.
Okay.
Or choose furniture with simple shapes that you can dress up or down with accessories.
Yeah.
Dual-purpose pieces are great too, especially if space is tight.
Like an ottoman with storage.
Exactly. And splitting responsibility can work. You choose the sofa, I choose the armchair.
Yeah.
But we both have to agree. It forces collaboration.
That example of Julia and her roommate was good. Modern versus traditional.
What did they land on?
A dining table. It had classic proportions, which Julia liked, but the top was this sleek concrete, and it had metal legs hitting her roommate's modern industrial vibe. A true blend.
Perfect example. And scale is so important with furniture, often overlooked. Big pieces. Probably best to keep them leaning neutral, more versatile. Let the smaller things, the accessories, carry the stronger personal style. You don't want, like, a massive, bright orange sectional dominating the room if your roommate prefers calm tones. Make the big things flexible, the small things personal.
That makes sense. And budget-wise? Any tips there? Buying together, maybe?
Yeah, buying core pieces together helps build that shared ownership. Contributing existing furniture, if it fits the compromise, is great. Shopping secondhand is fantastic for finding unique bridge pieces.
Ooh, good call.
And even rental furniture for really big-ticket items if you're not sure long-term. A little creativity goes a long way with the budget.
Okay, moving beyond the big furniture pieces, accessories. This seems like the spot where you can really let your individual style fly a bit more freely.
Totally. Accessories are your playground for personalization. The trick is distribution. Don't just clump all your stuff in one corner. Alternate things throughout the space. Maybe create a gallery wall that mixes both your art styles. Think about the rule of threes. When grouping objects, it just looks better, more balanced. And balance the visual weight. Don't put like 3 heavy, dark objects next to one tiny, delicate thing without something else to balance it out.
Like Mia and Sarah's system, placing Sarah's sleek, minimal vase next to Mia's textured, maybe vintage candle holders.
Exactly. It creates contrast, interest, a conversation between the pieces, not a competition.
And textiles came up a lot, mixing textures.
Huge potential there. Layer different textures, a chunky knit throw, a smooth linen pillow. Use solid colors on some pieces to bridge patterns on others. Vary the scale of patterns so they don't fight.
Okay.
And try to have a common color thread running through different textiles, even if the styles are different. It ties everything together like a rich tapestry.
And throw pillows. You call them a secret weapon.
Huh? They really are. Get some base pillows in solid colors that work for both of you. Then each of you adds maybe 1 or 2 accent pillows that scream your style. Instantly looks curated and intentional.
Love that. Easy win.
And plants. Never forget plants. Most people like them. They add life. And you can compromise on planters, sleek pots, texture pots, whatever works. Natural harmony.
Okay, but even with the best design tricks, none of this works without good communication, right? Boundaries. That seems critical.
Absolutely non-negotiable.
Yeah.
This is where it often falls apart if you don't address it up front. You have to talk about boundaries.
Like what specifically?
Like which areas are shared decorating zones and which are personal. Bedrooms usually off limits for compromise, right?
Right, private domain.
Budgets. For joint purchases, for individual stuff that impacts the shared space. How are decisions made for big changes? Do you both need to say yes? What's the timeline? Even like Do guests need to approve of stuff? It prevents so many arguments later.
Yeah, avoiding assumptions. That shared Pinterest board idea came up again here too, not just for inspo, but as a communication tool.
Exactly. It's like a visual contract.
Yeah.
Helps you make sure you're actually aiming for the same compromise before you buy anything, prevents misunderstandings.
And doing regular check-ins, like
Yeah,
monthly.
super helpful. Check in. What's working? What's maybe not feeling right? Any upcoming purchases to discuss? Any little tensions brewing? Plan seasonal updates together. Keeps the communication flowing.
And reinforcing that bedrooms are sanctuaries. Total individual expression allowed there.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And if conflicts do come up, the advice was key. Focus on the underlying need, not just the item. Is it really about that lamp? Or is it about feeling like their style isn't being seen? Get to the real issue.
Okay, let's touch on a couple of special cases. Small apartments. That seems extra challenging when styles clash because every single choice is amplified.
Oh, totally. In small spaces, every inch counts. Compromise strategies there include using vertical space really well. Multifunctional furniture is your best friend, that storage ottoman again. Creating visual flow with maybe one consistent element, like the flooring or wall color, helps tie differing styles together. And ruthless decluttering is essential. Only the best, most loved pieces from each style make the cut.
And lighting in small spaces. You mentioned that was key.
Crucial. Layering light table lamps, floor lamps, maybe sconces, avoids harsh overheads. Warm white bulbs usually flatter most styles. And you can use spotlights or lamps to specifically highlight those compromised pieces, making them feel more intentional.
Smart. And storage solutions could be a compromise point too, like that vintage trunk example.
Exactly. The trunk looks great for the bohemian style, but it provides that clean, hidden storage the minimalist loves. It's that perfect aha moment where one piece solves two problems.
Okay, and the other special consideration, cultural blending. That adds a whole other layer, but also seems like an amazing opportunity.
It's such a powerful opportunity for connection. The key considerations are respect and learning. Learn the significance of elements from each other's cultures. Ask before incorporating something that isn't from your own background. Focus on universal things that often cross cultures. Love of color, texture, natural materials. Celebrate shared values you find in different aesthetics. It's about creating something globally inspired and meaningful, not just grabbing stuff.
Like Priya with her Indian textiles and brass, and her roommate loving American artisanal pottery.
Right. They focused on their shared love of handcrafted things, natural materials.
Okay.
And the result was this beautiful collected space that told both their stories.
Really nice.
And quickly, if religious or spiritual items are involved, same principle. Discuss placement, understand significance, maybe create dedicated spaces. Respect is paramount.
So wrapping this all up, it feels like the main takeaway is this takes ongoing effort. Patience, communication, flexibility. It's not a one-and-done project.
Not at all. It's an evolution. Long-term success means doing those regular check-ins, being willing to tweak things that aren't working, actually appreciating how maybe your tastes grow or change a bit from exposure to your roommate's style.
Yeah.
And definitely celebrating the wins, those compromises that end up looking amazing, acknowledge them. It actually strengthens the relationship, not just the room.
And that learning aspect is huge, right? Like Mia learning about negative space from Sarah, and Sarah learning about warmth from texture and plants from Mia.
Exactly. It's a two-way street. You both gain something. And you know you've succeeded when, you both feel comfortable having people over. Decisions feel collaborative. The different styles are talking to each other, not shouting. The space feels intentional. It feels like home for both of you.
So the goal isn't really to change each other's styles fundamentally. It's more about creating this kind of shared design language, a unique dialect for your home.
Perfectly put. And what's really fascinating, I think, is flipping the script on compromise. It's not sacrifice. It's collaboration. And that collaboration can lead to something genuinely unexpected and wonderful, something richer than you could have done alone.
That's a great way to think about it. So for everyone listening, here's a final thought to chew on. When you look at your own space, or maybe dream about a future one, what unlikely style pairings might actually create the most unique, beautiful reflection of you and whoever you share it with? We hope this deep dive gave you some tools to explore that. Maybe try applying some of these ideas and see what surprising harmony you can create.